into different places. Like we were reading in the scrolls today, and Jeremy found something and Marissa found something in there that, we could be connecting with the calendar. And I like how the Ruach is guiding us. It's beautiful.
Yeah, it is.
And we were just talking about it this morning. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No,
Yeah.
you go, Jeremy. You're right.
No, I was just saying, we were just talking about it this morning, and here in our fellowship, he revealed it, and it was like, wow, it's right there. Truly amazing. Yeah, go ahead,
Yeah,
sister.
I love when Meredith was speaking about the stones, because Yah gave me a lot of information about the stones as well and how they're precious, and with the layout of the breastplate and stuff. And I just went back through and found the photos again, so I was going to dump them in the Telegram chat.
Awesome! Yay! I would love to see that.
So many connections. Yeah, go for it. Yeah, it was connecting back to, because last night on your TikTok there, Sister Rachel, we were talking about, the immersion of baptism in the water. And then
Yeah,
Meredith.
and how it come about. Yeah.
Yeah, and then that was brought up also with Sister Meredith there. And wow, so many connections.
Yeah, and like with the altars, like, imagine Yahuwah looking down at Adam, and Adam and Hawa turned around and, for those that don't know, I'm going to read it again and then I'll dump it in the chat. But obviously you don't get all the commentary as we were talking, unless Jeremy knows how to record it when we do the next one. So then obviously we can put the commentary with it as well. Adam threw himself off a cliff face for the 5th time to unalive his flesh, because he was so disappointed in his body with what he had done to Elohim to be kicked out of the garden. And so when he unalived himself for the 5th time, all of his blood had spilled out and went on these rocks. And anyway, Elohim sent a messenger to rise him up again, which has obviously put the spirit back in him, and said, Adam, stop doing this. And obviously he made a new rule and said, don't unalive yourself off the cliff. You and Hawa can't do it, because Hawa unalived herself for only the 4th time. It was 3rd or 4th time when she had jumped off the cliffs. And so what they did when they were both brought back to life again, they went and gathered up all the rocks with their spilt blood, and they put it in a pile and said, well, Elohim, we're so sorry. This is like an altar for you. We're sorry, we won't do it again. And that's how the first altar come about. But when you read it, it all, like, it really, really opens up the scriptures, because obviously that's why they want blood put on the altars, because it said that Elohim seen the blood on the stones and he liked it, which meant that he never commanded people to do that. It was the people that did that in honor of him. So when that part really hit me hard, but there's more to it. But obviously I've got to go back and reprocess it again to work out what the rest of it is.
Wow.
What?
Did you hear that part, Katrina? Because I think that was when you had to go and help your friend.
Yeah, no, I didn't hear that part.
Yeah, well, Yah was telling me to keep count, because Adam was so disappointed in all that he'd done. He actually unalived himself 5 times within the first 25 verses. And Yah kept on having to say, like, and obviously this is why they mock that people come from cavemen, because I actually had a policeman mock me when I was being arrested. And they said, oh, that's right, you don't think that you come from cavemen, do you, and all of this. And they were really being profound kind of thing. And when I read the book of Adam and Eve, Yah instantly opened up my eyes and said, see, you should have agreed with the policeman, because it says all the time in the book of Adam and Eve that Adam beat his chest. So that's where they obviously got that people come from ape men, because Adam run around beating his chest, but it was just a sign of masculinity kind of thing. But that's where obviously the enemy twists it to say, no, it comes from cavemen.
Yeah, it all works too. Crazy, a dragonfly just landed on my leg. Sorry.
Oh, have you seen? Have you gone on DARPA's website, Jeremy?
No, I definitely have heard
Have
about
you
it.
seen that dragonflies don't exist? They're actually radio control listening devices from the military.
Very interesting. It literally landed on my leg and freaked me out. So
Was it blue in colouring?
it was a green and blue, like a greenish blue. It was
Yeah.
very, very large. It freaked me out kind of until I saw what it was.
Yeah, well, there's when you go in radio control, if you go onto Google and you type in radio control insects, they've got listening device pigeons that even can coo and do all of this. But they say that all like dragonflies are their number one thing for listening devices.
Interesting.
Well, so are the phones. So
Yeah, yeah, that's true.
I just shared another one, but I don't know. Can you hear me when I go to the chat, or does it block out now?
No, we can hear you.
Oh, I just shared one that is a staircase, like a staircase to heaven, and it goes Galatians 5:22-23. These are obviously the fruits of the Spirit we're meant to have: self-control, gentleness, faithfulness, goodness, kindness, patience, peace, joy, love, and they're the fruits of the Spirit.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's awesome. I love it.
Yeah. I was going to say maybe what we should do to help people out, because obviously Telegram's a lot more friendlier for doing lives. Maybe we should do the lives on Saturday on here instead, but get other people to come across.
Yeah.
Like on our, for those that don't understand, I'm in Australia, so our Shabbat is 14 hours ahead of you guys. And so if we go, when I went live on Telegram, on TikTok, it's the Australian Saturday, which is you guys' Friday night.
No, it was last night, so it was our Saturday and your Sunday.
Oh yeah, sorry, I've missed a day.
No worries.
Yeah, I was just listening to Jimmy's live as well on the iPad. They're actually doing 2 gatherings now. They're doing one on the West Coast and one on the East Coast. There's a lady that got on this morning for Sukkot. She said that she's got some big property and they're allowing people to go there for Sukkot as well. So I just thought I'd let you know.
where on the East Coast?
I know I can get this right. Grass Lakes, and it's Michigan. Is that it?
I'm not familiar with Michigan, but yeah, no, we have our Sukkot planned as well in Port, Missouri, and actually at our sister Marissa's property, and that's what I was trying to tell Jimmy on his live when he was announcing his.
Wait,
like,
what is it? Grass? Is it Grass Lake, Missouri?
Yeah.
it's in Missouri. That's where we're going.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's not really on the East Coast.
Well, it's further.
I think they
Yeah.
said Grass Lakes, Michigan. I'm sure it was Michigan.
I'm looking
Um,
at Grass Lake. I pulled it up. It's in Michigan. Or it could be in Missouri. Wait, let me see. Oh no, it is in Michigan.
They also have one in Florida, it looks like. I don't know about it, but I don't know if that can't be the one that I've gone to before. I don't think that's where we were, but I'll keep looking because there's a really great fellowship for Sukkot in Florida that we had Jim Barfield come last 2 years ago. Last year I was with Lee. Then we were at the other one prior to that, and Jim came to that one.
Yeah, this is only 8 hours from me. Michigan.
As far as
yeah.
Missouri.
So maybe you'd have to ask Jimmy the more details because I didn't get the two ladies' names, but obviously he knows them and he knows them personally.
I'll text him. Thank you.
Has anybody heard from Libby?
You're welcome. Well, that's the only thing that you
Oh.
missed, kind of thing, on his
Yeah.
live.
Oh, we have heard from Libby, Lee, yes. So she called us the other night and she's saying that she's getting better.
Oh, good.
What else
good.
did she say, Jeremy? I think Ken was on too.
Yeah, Ken was there as well. She did say she was getting better. What else did she say?
I don't
I think it was
remember.
something to do. It was something to do with the calendar.
Oh, it was Kodesh.
Yeah, yeah.
She thinks they're every month, but they're not. It's the 4 seasonal days.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
That-
probably should sit down with her and study that out just to
yeah,
get on the same page.
I agree. Yeah. But yeah, no, Libby's been doing well.
Oh, good.
Yeah, we have our Sukkot fellowship as well that we've been planning out for quite some time. And that's where Sister Marissa offered up her property for us as well in Missouri. And some of us have already been planning on attending that. But yeah, there's going to be definitely a lot of Sukkots, and I noticed Jimmy announced his too, and just a couple weeks ago. And I told him, if we hadn't already planned ours, I'd probably go to the one they're having here in Phoenix or Arizona. Sorry.
Oh, I've been meaning to ask you, Ellie, are you still on? Did you get the video about the T Corona Borealis hitting on the Day of Atonement, exploding on the Day of Atonement, that prophetic whatever that somebody got? Were you able to watch that?
I have not seen that yet. I was just thinking about that today, and then I'm like, okay, now I got to go back and find it because things just happen, there's so much. Oh. Would you mind putting it on again or sending it to me or something?
I sent it to you privately.
Oh,
Jeremy,
that might be why I didn't find it.
I'll post it right now in the link in the chat. But Jeremy, I don't know. Do you might want to pull that up and play it real quick, just so because Jim Staley canceled his Sukkot, and he's getting all these prophetic warnings about Sukkot, and he canceled it. It's like his favorite event, and he's like, yeah, it's canceled. We're just doing it privately. And I'm like, I connected it back to what this guy was saying because this guy is not on our calendar. But the things that he was saying, the prophetic things happening in the stars, we're hitting all of our feasts, including the Day of Atonement, the Sabbath, and the seasonal divider, which is not on the first day for some reason. And I think I'm going to get into Erin Ryan's video where I think she explains that a little bit better. But yeah, if you could pull that video up here, let me get it and post it in the chat.
Get it and post it, and I can pull it up.
What was that?
Yeah, get it and post it in the chat, and I can put it up and share it.
Yeah, because it really freaked me out. Because when he was walking through these dates, I'm like, that's the Day of Atonement, and he doesn't even know it.
Thank you for reminding me, Katrina. 'Cause
What was the other one?
that'd be pretty interesting.
What was
Important.
the Ellie? I think I sent you the other one too. I think I still have
one. I only saw one, the one that you just sent now.
It was another video. I
just went
posted
and
it in the
checked it.
chat. Oh, I forget. Oh, was it the land of Jesus?
That's a good one.
No, maybe it was another one. Oh, I forget which one. Oh, Jeremy, do you remember what the other video I was supposed to send her? I did post it in the chat.
That leaving Babylon, the land of Jesus.
Oh, okay. So it was that one. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So let me get this up, and then I'll play this video. Give me just a moment.
Yeah, but we don't know the day or hour, but we'll know the season or something, right? But the T Corona Borealis is going to explode on Atonement. I don't know, the way that this guy was wording it was like pretty crazy.
I thought you were going to send me the Jim Staley's announcement.
Oh, okay. All right.
Well,
Let
with
me
the dream and everything in it.
let me grab that and I'll put it right in the chat or your private chat too, because again, as Rachel and everyone says, we're all part of the body. We all have different gifts and different insights. And this might be Jim's contribution to it. I don't know, but I'll put that in the chat right now.
Now, didn't he say something about September or something? Well, that's way before Sukkot. That something was going to happen.
Oh, I don't know that. I just know that he's canceling Sukkot because they've been getting prophetic warnings. But he's on a different calendar too, so I don't know.
Well, he did say September something 19th or something like that. Way before Sukkot will start. So he did give a date. If I remember right, it was September 19th or something like that.
Yeah. Was it?
Jerry, I posted that.
Yeah. The Jim Staley video.
Yes. Didn't he say September 19th
Something like
or
that.
17th or something like that? That's going to happen. That event that she's talking about,
Are
like
you speaking about
the destroyer's on its way.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it was on
Yeah. Yep.
it was on, I think the head of the seventh month or something like that.
Yes. So that's way before Sukkot, according to what he's doing. So
Just a few weeks actually, because that seventh month.
yeah, couple weeks. Yeah.
What's the video that he's talking about September?
The one that you posted.
Did he?
Yeah.
The one you shared.
Yeah. Yeah.
The end of the September is actually the beginning of the seventh month.
Yeah.
So was it our Feast of Trumpets that this is supposed to happen? I don't have the calendar in front of me.
Yes. Yes. So here, I'm just pulling up the papers. So, okay, so September 7th, he said the blood veil begins with a lunar eclipse. So that's September, and it's on our Sabbath, not on Saturday Sabbath. That's on our Sabbath. And then he said the T Corona Borealis will erupt on trumpets, September 18th. And that's also Jubilee 6 when the abyss was opened. And then...
And that's our trumpets, not his.
Correct.
Okay, good.
So then the next Sabbath on Sunday, September 21st, Saturn is in opposition. Destroyer star reveals itself. And then on the autumn equinox, the woman is crowned with the 12 stars on September 23rd.
Interesting.
On September 23rd. And it's interesting because the first time it came about was on September 17th. Now it's on September 23rd.
Interesting.
Well, they sure
Oh.
do put a lot of September 23rds in a lot of the movies. So.
Oh, and one more sign. In the midst of our Sukkot, on October 8th, it's the 21st of the 7th month, the destroyer star reveals itself during Saturn opposition. Oh, wait. Maybe I messed that one up. Why do I have it twice? Destroyer star. I don't know. Watch the video. Because I think he mentions October 8th, too. Do you have that video up? Jeremy?
Yeah. Were you able to see when I was screen sharing? I had it up before, but I stopped screen sharing, but let me know if you can see 1 second. All right. Let me know if you can see this. Did it start sharing? Why is it not sharing? Hold on one second. Let me let me get it figured out. It's not screen sharing for some reason. All right, so let me get the video up. And here, let me screen share it, and then I'll full screen it so everybody can see. Hold on, it's glitching out on me. 1 second here. It wasn't letting me unmute. Sorry. And now why is it changing? Come on. 1 second. I'll get this figured out.
The first four seals brought conquest, war, famine, and death. The fifth seal opened the scroll of the martyrs, those crying out under the altar. But now the sixth seal opens and the sky responds. In Revelation chapter 6, verses 12 to 14, and I beheld when he opened the sixth seal, and lo, there was a great earthquake. The sun became black as sackcloth, and the moon became as blood, and the stars of heaven fell to the earth, and the sky rolled back like a scroll. This is not poetic, it's literal. This is the global shaking, both physical and spiritual, the moment where heaven and earth react to the sealed scroll. Here's what the sixth seal unleashes. First, the great earthquake. This will be a worldwide shaking. It could be tectonic, volcanic, or even cosmic. This will be a foundation-shattering judgment. And no, this is not a metaphor. Then the sun will be darkened. The moon will turn to blood. These are time signs. On September 7th, the blood veil begins. Then on September 21st, Saturn will be at opposition and the destroyer star will be revealed. The sky will grow dim, but the fire will not fall yet. Then the sky will roll back and the T Corona Borealis will erupt on September 18th. This is the star that explodes before judgment. What follows is a tearing of the veil. The sky scroll opens. The reaction, and the kings of the earth, the great men, the rich men, the mighty men, hid themselves in the caves and said, "Fall on us and hide us from the face of him who sits on the throne and from the wrath of the Lamb." This is not fear of war, it's fear of exposure. The elite realize the sky is telling the truth and the scroll is real. Why this aligns with fall 2025? On September 7th, the lunar eclipse. September 18th, the T Borealis star explodes. September 21st, the destroyer star reveals itself during the Saturn opposition. On September 23rd, Revelation 12, the woman crowned with 12 stars. All within 2 weeks, the earth shakes, the stars speak, and the remnant is sealed. In Revelation chapter 6, verse 17, for the day of his wrath has come, and who shall be able to stand? The answer, only the sealed. The first four seals brought conquest, war, famine, and death. The fifth seal opened the scroll of the martyrs, those crying out under the altar. But now the sixth seal opens and the sky responds. In Revelation chapter 6, verses 12 to 14,
Okay, it's just playing over now.
when he opened the sixth seal.
Sorry, I didn't realize it was repeating. So yeah, no, pretty interesting stuff.
Yeah, now who was the one talking? I can see your calendar going on there, but who was the one talking?
It was I forget his name. What was his name there, Katrina? I know he's on TikTok a lot. Um, I forget his name.
He's Undeniable Truths on TikTok. But he's really good for the most part. He's just a jerk when it comes to the calendar.
Yeah.
Like, he just did not want to discuss it at all. And I'm
Maybe
like, yeah,
his
but
eyes will
dude.
be open one day.
Yeah. And I was just like, yeah, but you don't understand. Like, the video that you just shared, all of those dates that you just gave hit the feasts and the Sabbaths on the true calendar. I'm like, this is big. Just take a look at our calendar for a second. No. Mm-mm. Yeah, pray for him because, I mean, who knows? There's so many of these, scare tactic, but he does have really good he does have really good content. And the other thing that was really getting to me was his denial of Paul, but he just repented of that. And I'm like, what? He repented of denying Paul. And I was like, hallelujah. Wow.
Well, the
That's great.
calendar may come along here pretty soon too, then.
Hopefully. I should just touch base with him again. At the time, I was just so excited because I was like, what? But then Jim Staley. So if he's prophesying something that happens in September, what does that mean?
Basically lining up with what that brother was saying happening in September, right?
Yeah, because September. So technically, he could be right because September 19th is our trumpets. And then September 21st, that Saturn is in opposition. The destroyer star reveals itself. And then September 23rd, the woman crowned with 12 stars. And then boom, our Sukkot happens. And the bride is sealed. Gathered? I don't know.
So he thinks that this is going to happen in 2025 because of the blood moon, is what it sounded like to me. Did anybody else get that out of this?
He did say the moon was going to turn into blood. He did say that in the beginning. He's saying that the sixth seal is going to be opening.
Right, but that was the reason why he thought it was 2025, right? I'd have to re-listen, but that's the sense I got.
Yeah, he was saying 2025. Yeah.
And I think he gave the reason was because of the blood moon on the 17th of September.
I heard a lunar eclipse.
Right, and that's what they call a blood moon.
Okay. Yeah. Then, yeah.
And so where did he get information about the corona, whatever it is?
I don't know. Ooh, there's fireworks going off. That's
So
crazy.
is Jim Staley's any more extensive than this? Does he explain anything any differently?
I kind of just got that he's just getting prophetic dreams about warning. Just prophetic warnings, dreams.
No details or anything.
Go and watch it again. It was a little bit that I seen it.
I have not seen Jim Staley. Unless this guy is Jim Staley, I don't know what you're talking about. That's the only one that I saw in my chat, and he just played it.
No, I
So is
posted
this
it
Jim Staley or is this somebody else?
here. It was the last thing I posted. So here, I'll send it to you privately again. Copy. It's in the chat, but I'll send it to you privately too.
It's in the chat.
Here you go. There you go.
That's what we just watched, right?
No, this one is Jim Staley. The other one was Undeniable Truths.
Okay, good. I haven't seen that one yet, what you just sent me. Appreciate that.
Yeah, definitely. So we have Rachel and Meredith going back and forth here. About the diamond.
Hey, okay, guys. So I just wanted to say, no, I don't include diamond either because
Okay.
it's not anisotropic, but sometimes it's referenced as diamond in places, and each Hebraic word has a thread of where it all exists in scripture. So I have the Strong's Concordance app on my phone, and like if I go to click on what they call as diamond, that leads to the Hebrew. Then I can go, hey guys, it's actually this anisotropic stone. You know what I mean? Because they don't have it listed. They've got them so backwards and confused. I mean, so like even the birthstones, they had ancient ways that were handed down, and then some gemologists, I think in the last 100 or several hundred years, like went and changed them and made different ones. So the only one that's really kind of stuck out is like amethyst, and that through and through is kind of, I don't know why that one gets the favor of staying in its right place, the right stone, all that. But the rest, as you guys can see on all those other pictures, none of it makes sense. But if you actually see the way Abba had him thread through from Reuben going straight on, it makes like a color wheel. It makes like a color spectrum. And I don't know if you guys ever, you've seen, I'm sure. I don't know if you guys have them, but have you guys seen the what is it? What's the Hebrew full way of saying it? It's the talit that has all the color spectrum on it, and you can see the creation week in the color spectrometer, and it's on. It's almost like a rainbow talit. We have one, and now I can't remember what is it. B'nai Or, is it maybe something like that? Anyway, this guy wanted to make a talit that had the color spectrum on it, and actually it actually segments off into the creation week itself in all the colors. So it's interesting that the gemstones, because Ruthie was going at this before me, and she goes, I think they're all variations of purple, blue, and red. And then lo and behold, like I'm starting to go into this, and they're naturally unfolding this way. It wasn't like I set out to make it go in that flow, but the sardonyx is kind of lumped in with the oranges, to that front part of the color spectrum.
Rachel, could you mute your mic? We could hear the little bit of feedback.
Oh, sorry, it was on mute, and then it it took it off. So I'm sorry about that.
No, that's okay.
No worries. Wow, interesting.
Very interesting.
It's just frustrating. You can see how it even just added like a word at the end of what I was saying. Like Telegram added the word should. I didn't put that there. It had auto text, and it filled it in and sent it through to you guys, even though I didn't include that. So it's so crazy how, oops, sorry, that's my little Maltese. That's not the big dog. I only have two. So now you know my dogs. I have a golden retriever and I have a Maltese. But anyway, So if you hear them bark, I'm sorry. Um, but anyway, how much confusion, is trying to take place.
Yeah, yeah, wow. And it all connects, really, if you think about it.
Right? Yeah. I mean, it would make sense that Abba through and through made things just so easy.
Yeah, no worries, Sister Rachel. We just have to get used to muting here because if you don't, it gets the feedback. We notice that. So
And I
yeah.
totally understand mistakes happen. I do it a lot. I do it more than anybody. My mute is always getting turned on, and I'm screaming at my kids.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, no, really fascinating information. And it goes right along with what we were speaking about just a couple of weeks ago too, because we were talking about the stones and the frequencies as well. And it was actually that video Katrina shared.
I can't wait to go through all this stuff even deeper because I definitely want to be on for the call, and then I'll do those later. But it's exciting. But what I was trying to say about sighted moon, because that was years ago that I was. Let me go in a different room. My golden retriever has mine, and I will go in a different one. Anyway, but what was I saying? Oh, so I forget what his name is from Sighted Moon Ministries or whatever that is. He had a NIDA study, and he ended up tracking
Joe
like,
DeMuns.
what's his name?
Joe DeMuns.
Oh, right. And he has phenomenal photos from Jabal al-Lawz as well with gemstones on the. It wasn't him. It wasn't him who took it. It was the other guy on the trip, and he photographed up on that mountaintop, and they didn't see it until they got back down that these beautiful blue gemstones were in the rock. So he has some great things. Obviously others that calendar wise are not agreeable to what everybody's at today, but before, what he was doing was charting out the Nita cycle and wars, and like blood aligning with that, like bloodshed. I don't know. So that might be an intriguing thing to go through. But with that study that was on YouTube, I would highly recommend starting at least a good hour in, because the beginning is just chatter. Like, none of us need, no offense to him, but like none of us need to have that time spent on that part. It's all just like outlining the Bible. You know what I mean? Like like the basics that you're just like, okay, zoop, let's get to the meat of what's going on here. So if you want, you can watch the whole thing. You could watch it in double speed or whatever you want to do, but it starts to get meaty in the second hour. And he starts to show his Excel charts and everything that he did. So even if it's not 100%, it may be an avenue to consider with all of that.
The NIDA study?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Do you
I
want me
think
to?
I watched that. I think I did watch that a long time ago.
Yeah, like, not a lot of people want to do studies on that for sure. And it was, he went for it, which was good, because at least it's getting everybody Torah wise to think about the distinction, realize that it's there. We're valuing like Torah in other regards and trying to pursue Abba, but people tend to not want to go into that part or think about it on the deeper, sod levels and what it all has to represent either. So, it's There may be further study to be had on that. And
I'm actually trying to look it up right now. I can't find it. So if you could,
okay.
I tried to Google sighted moon NIDA study, but maybe it's called something else.
Hold on 1 second. Let me see. Unless it got taken down. Look up NIDA. NIDA and the Red Heifer. Unveiling the Mystery of Joseph. Yeah, I'm looking at YouTube. I know the front of like picture. I used to watch this thing all the time because I was trying to, not for anything else other than trying to understand his spreadsheets and what he thought he was seeing. I think he was also doing a 49 count for Jubilees. Like one was 50. And there was a huge debate at the time. I don't know where you guys are, but you know, as far as we see with all the counts, you know, Omer would work the same way. We only have a 7-day week, whatever that is. So essentially we get you that. So, but there was a lot of debate over whether you count a 50th year and then start at 1. And, you know, I don't know, but let me keep trying to find it. Maybe it's too.
Yeah, interesting. What was that you shared in the chat there, Katrina?
Oh, I thought it was really interesting. One of the Satan's Little Season people posted about the modern Olympics, the education system, the world fairs, Freemason going mainstream, false archaeology, fake history, then second Ezra's 14. I answered, I will speak in your presence. Yah, look, I will go as you commanded me and warn the people who are now living. But who will warn those who will be born in the future? The world is in darkness. Those who live in it have no light, because your law has been burned. And so no one knows what things you have done or what works are about to come to pass. If then I have found favor before you, send a Holy Spirit unto me, Ruach HaKodesh, and I will write everything that has happened in the world from the beginning, the things that were written in your law, so that human beings can find the path, and those who want to live in the last days may live. And then they go through scientific revolution, Darwinism, germ theory, heliocentrism, you know, not lining up with scripture, and the revival of the ancient architecture, the globe earth narrative, and the Olympics. It's repackaging pagan temple games as international unity events. And the worship of the human body, the idolization of athletes, the flame of Satan, Prometheus. That's another name I never heard of. Wow. Burning bright in every opening ceremony. Yeah, it's Satan's game. And he's uniting all the worlds with this Olympic event, which is pretty disgusting. And so, yeah, just something to watch out for. I don't know if you know, but Meredith, don't get scared. We're kind of riding the fence of Satan's Little Season, being that we are just looking at certain things that the millennial reign already happened. If the millennial reign already happened, and we're just kind of looking at things. We can all admit that it's all pretty deception. Well, deception is everywhere. So. we're just kind of, looking. We want to test everything. We wouldn't have gotten the calendar had we, not questioned Zadok. What calendar do you keep right now? Oh,
I
you're
was,
with Allison.
yes, with Ruthie. Yep. I basically sat with her, and Lee was doing it as far as I knew as well. And yeah, so that's the
So
one that I was
could you tell me what she does again? Does she move the equinox day to a pagan Wednesday to get a Saturday Sabbath? I forget.
she basically she said every 6 years, because she was looking through the Otot and Mishmarot scrolls, and together she said she couldn't understand why they would need to do intercalation
There's no need
until
for it.
she said the menorah during the winter season, that would be when you would plant, and then you would make sure to it would be the intercalation happening in
Yeah,
order to keep everything on schedule. Otherwise you're going to get really, really off and be out of season and out of correct counting.
Well, she's going to be out of season because the thing that we found, that if you're stranded on a deserted island, you wouldn't have to look for a pagan Wednesday. So we don't use Gregorian days of the week because it's a modern construct and it floats and it's of delusion. So what we do is we use the scrolls and the Enoch and Jubilees to say, hey, look, this sun sign that is supposed to light up the temple on day 4 of the creation week, we can't move that because the Dead Sea Scrolls calls those kinds of people boundary shifters. We can't take the boundary marker and move it, because when this day 4 sun sign comes in, it's the straight branch on the menorah. You know, the middle branch of the menorah and how all the other 3 sides kind of bends.
Mm-hmm.
Well, when the sun's straight line shadow happens, that is the straight line on the menorah, keeping creation week. And then you have, day 5, day 6, day 7, and it keeps Sabbath intact of the creation week.
Okay.
So we don't move it. It's Jeremy could describe it better, but please look into it because it's all over the canon. And that's where, Ruthie would have blocked me because she just doesn't want to talk about it. But the intercalation is just a fancy word for error. Just like the lunar Sabbaths have to intercalate a 13th month because they're using the 354-day cycle. So they have to intercalate to keep back up, to catch back up. So when Ruth is moving the equinox day, the straight line shadow, to whatever Wednesday, she has to intercalate to get back on into the season. And that's why she has to add a whole week. But Scripture is very clear. There's only 364 days only in Yah's calendar, but there's a 365-day solar cycle. So that extra day is our divider day, and it keeps creation week intact. Whereas in creation week, on the 4th day, the straight line shadow appears, and we get our 4th day. We can't move that 4th day sign. That's the error. And then people are like coming up with all these like crazy intercalation methods, and they're all over the board. And it's like, guys, no, we just gotta because if you're moving it to a Gregorian week, that's what you're following. That's who you're following. And unfortunately, it's you are following Saturn is what we found, and Saturn is Satan. And even in it's what's the scripture? Okay, Acts 7:42. So Elohim turned and gave them to worship the host of heavens, as it was written in the book of the prophets. Did you bring slaughtered beasts and offered unto me for 40 years in the wilderness, O house of Yasharel? And you took up tents of Molech and the star of your mighty one, Saturn, the image which you made to bow before them. Therefore I shall remove you beyond Babel. And then Amos 5, there's nothing new under the sun. Saturn is worshipped, and we can't worship this Saturn's day. Otherwise, we are going to be in error. So Amos 5, you brought me slaughterings and meal offerings in the wilderness for 40 years, O house of Yasharel, but you took up Succoth, your sovereign, and Saturn, your idols. Now it would say Ramfan, it would mistranslate it, but it's really Saturn. Your idols, your astral mighty ones, which you made for yourself. So Erin Ryan does a great presentation. She just uploaded it, Remnant of Light, how she proves that the Saturn day is the golden calf.
Interesting.
It's so deep. So, yeah. So we also proved, Ellie did a great presentation on Jackson Snyder. I could send you a whole bunch of links. She proved that the Saturday can't be the Sabbath.
So what other texts do you have to support besides scripture to establish that that's how it was being done by, I would say, Zadok, right? Is that what you guys are saying is the correct interpretation? Because I did see that
Correct.
outside of Ruthie about the alignment of those things at the temple and everything like that. Like, I know historically that it, is over confirmed, but I just was curious how it all integrates.
Okay.
So basically, what we're gonna see is in basically the Dead Sea Scrolls. So specifically, scroll 4Q394. It's very fragmented, but it's talking about the last Sabbath of the year, and after that last Sabbath of the year, there's a day that's added. And of course, they hide this with authors' insertations and everything like that. But on our video presentation, I show
But
in the scroll
Jeremy,
itself.
Okay.
that's not what she's talking about. She wants to know the scriptural support for the equinox, not the equal day, equal night. So
No, I'm talking about outside documents. Like,
Oh.
yes, like outside of what we have as Canaan right now. He is talking about Dead Sea Scrolls. Yeah, any of that's fine. Like anything
okay.
to kind of support, because we get, like we've said, through the law of 2 or 3 witnesses, you start to be able to establish and get to, understanding and checks and balances there. So that's all I was trying to get to understand, how you guys are integrating the Otot and Mishmarot scrolls, and then like the one you just listed, Jeremy. If you put that one in, then I can make sure to look at that also. Because I challenged Ruthie one time about when she was putting Shavuot into place, and then it took a while, but we were able to go back and confirm in Jubilees, how Abraham did it, and then I counted backward from with Isaac and Shavuot. Then you could count backwards to see 7 weeks backward where you would be in, as far as the beginning of the calendar went versus the not middle point, but that feast, and go backward. And I was like, okay. Huh?
So this is what I'm talking about with the menorah.
Mm-hmm.
Do you see this straight line?
Yeah.
This
Yeah,
is
I
day
got you.
4. Straight line. And then when it comes in on, a pagan Saturday, it means that Tuesday is going to be the Shabbat. If it comes in on a Friday, this year it came on a Thursday. Sunday will be a Shabbat. So,
Your camera's blurry.
oh, is it?
Yep. On my
Uh,
end,
Do you see what image this is? Did you guys see this at the top? Well, it's 10 o'clock exactly here, but then it's 314. Anybody notice that?
Wow.
Pretty funny. That was just comedic. I've seen this number pop up so much lately. Like, I don't know. I
oh
wasn't
boy.
on it. I found that funny. Anyways,
But
I
yeah,
screenshot it for memory purposes for a scrapbook. But anyway, but yeah, I mean,
but we have all the evidence. If you could take it's a long read, Meredith, yeah. But it's so good. Jeremy wrote up a fabulous article going over this. It is solid. He has all the scriptures in there to prove the divider day that comes before the first day of the creation week. And he gives all the scriptures for the day 4. This is Yah's esteem. The day 4 is Ezekiel 43. And he led me to the gate facing east. This is what Ezekiel 43 is talking about. And see, the esteem of Elohim, of Yasharel, came from the way of the east. And his voice was like the sound of many waters. And the earth shone from his esteem. And it was like the appearance of a vision, which I saw, like the vision which he came to destroy the city. And the visions were like the vision which I saw by river Kebar, and I fell on my face. And the esteem of Yahweh came into the house by the way of the gate facing east. This is talking about the equinox, that straight line shadow. And I mean, there's so many others. I'm like literally, Jeremy explains it a lot better.
No. I get now. I'm understanding. Like, so basically, you guys for the new year, you're going to start day 4, and it's going to be when the equinox happens. Period.
Yeah,
Exactly.
And that always is what triggers the new year starting, and then it's always going to start with day 4. I got you. I know what you're saying.
Yep. And then the Sabbath is 3 days later, depending on what, no matter what, it comes out to be. If it's going to be on Sunday, I accept it to be on Sunday. And a lot of people want to be like, oh, well, but I have a 9-to-5 job.
Yeah.
How am I supposed to do this calendar? Well, it's another step out of Babylon is what we try to explain. It's just another step. It's like you're going to have to lose your public education system job because it's of the beast. You're going to have to lose your, secretary job at the bank because that's of the beast. So it's just another push out of our Babylon here. It makes a lot of sense. It's actually a protection. It's not a hurt. And if we trust Yahuwah, he's going to provide for us. If we're going to go and do his feasts and celebrate his Sabbaths on the day he chose, he's not going to leave us. He's not going to leave us. He's going to provide. So I love it. I love it. It is truly because he gets all the glory, right? Our testimony puts him to the forefront. And we see his power and his might. I just love it.
That's awesome. Yeah, I can't wait to see more, for sure.
Yeah, all praise to the Most High. That he got me to start putting this article together a while ago, and Katrina's helped out a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And even this group has helped out a lot. And, it just walks it through the history and then the calendar itself
Mm-hmm.
and how, we're supposed to use the signs Yahuwah gave us versus, trying to move it to a Wednesday or a Saturday. And, and I understand, it can be hard for some people to grasp because it was for me at first too. I was like, oh, you can't move the seventh day. Well, it's not really the seventh day that's moving. It's actually the Gregorian week that's moving. It just
Mm-hmm.
doesn't appear so.
Yeah, and then it sets for that entire year, correct?
Correct. Yes,
So
exactly.
everything is falls on that initial equinox.
Precisely.
Mm-hmm.
And that's also how, excuse me, that's also how, in the, that's how Messiah, like say, for example, the Lunar Sabbatarians, I know one of their days is a Tuesday. In
Mm-hmm.
some groups it is. So for that year, let's say the true calendar, it fell on, a Tuesday was the Sabbath. So for at least 2 or 3 months out of that lunar Sabbath, the Sabbath would be on the same day as the true Sabbath.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I believe those accounts in the New Testament that we see where the Pharisees are coming to him on the Sabbath day and saying those things. I believe that happened when the two Sabbaths coincided.
Okay. And so he would go into synagogue and the scripture saying it's Shabbat would have to be when everybody Shabbat's align.
Well, that's what
Well,
we were speaking about as well.
That's what I'm at. I'm just trying to understand.
when
Like,
he went into the synagogue and he proclaimed the acceptable year and they got all mad, he quoted Isaiah proclaiming the acceptable year. Well, that's a big tell-off right there,
Yeah,
you
right.
know?
and that you have to realize if it was on their Sabbath day, they would already have rabbis up speaking. So it would have to be on the true Sabbath day, not theirs, where Messiah would be able to come up and speak. Because usually they would have some rabbi up there teaching. That's just my thoughts about it when he was, because he did go to the synagogues every Sabbath day. That
Right.
was his
Yeah.
custom.
That was like something that he was looking to be observing consistently on their Shabbat day.
But he did grow up in Egypt with the Temple of Onias, with
Yeah.
the Zadok priests. So,
Mm-hmm. Right. And it seemed that the Sadducees, like everybody seemed to collectively be, from what I had always read, seemed like they were all, like that wasn't a debate. It was really coming down to like the feast observances and all that. But I'm listening. I'm not arguing. I'm not one of those people like I can hear what's and chewing on it, just trying
hallelujah.
to think on all of that.
And that's a big misconception as well.
Mm-hmm.
Is, Jews have always observed it on a Saturday. Well, Ellie actually in her presentation just goes through the examples of in the history and how Rome actually had Saturday was day one of their week, and their week was dependent on similar to how the lunar Sabbatarians do theirs. It was on this floating week cycle that began with, a new moon or a sliver moon.
Oh wow.
So because, the Rome and the Pharisees were both on this lunar calendar, it happened that, you know, the Jews' Sabbath at that time was lining up with the Roman Dies Saturni, the day of Saturn, which
Mm-hmm.
was day one of that week, and it was on a lunar cycle. So that's why we see, Josephus talking about, oh, look, it was on Saturday. The Sabbath was on their Saturday because the Roman Saturday was actually a lunar one.
Mm-hmm.
And from the Roman side, or I'm not really familiar with it. Ellie's probably better than me, but basically from the Romans and the Jews side, when you put the two historical accounts together, you can see that we're both following this floating lunar week, but they don't really explain that, and they just want us thinking it's this. Oh, it was always the seventh day Sabbath that fell on a Saturday that they're always keeping, and that's really the common misconception. And when you really look into the history and you start seeing all these things, you're like, whoa, it would be impossible for Saturday to be the seventh day preserved Shabbat. One, because it was, day one of their week back then. And two, the Roman Gregorian week did not exist until, it was established how we know it today in 321 AD by Constantine, where he moved Saturday to the seventh day and he put the day of the sun, Sunday, as the first day, as their, day of the Lord type deal.
Yeah, I
And so
remember those studies. Yep.
so that's where we get our modern, weekly layout on the Gregorian calendar. And so the thing is why would the Zadok priests intercalate to a Wednesday that did not even exist at that time? Not to mention the whole floating lunar weekly cycles in both different calendars of the Romans and the Pharisees. It wasn't just a 7-day weekly cycle year to year. It was actually going off the lunar cycles. But once you realize all that, that's when all of this starts opening up even more. And then once you realize, sighting the moons and things like that, that's exactly what Babylon did. Then you realize, whoa, well, this is all Babylon. And then you read Ezekiel 44, you see the importance of the sons of Zadok. And, they were ordained by Yahuwah himself to keep the calendar and even settle disputes about it. So we have the writings, and they lay it out beautifully, and it just fits. It's really, truly amazing. And, just coming together in this group, we found more and more confirmations about it. Yeah, and really, I would recommend watching the first video I shared. That's our video presentation about it. And then my article is right below it.
Okay.
And that's the one. It's a very long read, but I walk through the history and I show the connections between the Dead Sea Scrolls, the Sons of Zadok, and the New Testament even.
Mm-hmm. Cool. So then you have all of those then.
Oh yeah,
That's great to see.
Yeah, it's really, really amazing. And yeah, just test it for yourself and
Yeah.
he'll open your eyes. It's truly amazing.
Awesome. Very cool.
All praise to the Most High. And yeah, Katrina, you did an amazing job at explaining it as well.
Oh, thank you. Praise yeah.
Yeah, it's nice hearing someone else explain it besides me. So
Yeah,
nice to
I think I could do it. But when it comes to connecting it to the scriptures, you kind of do need them too, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So when we do our 4th Jackson Snyder presentation, maybe I could just do a run through of the calendar, which technically Justin didn't do. So that we could just kind of flow through it. Like, okay, here's the setup. You got the scriptures, this is how it's set up, and maybe it could just tie everything all together.
Yeah, it's really amazing just how it all fits together.
Yeah, it just makes a lot of sense. Like it's really common sense too. But we have to break Babylon from our brain in order to get it. And that hurts because when I first got this understanding about the calendar, I actually had a migraine like you wouldn't believe. It actually hurt me. It was crazy. Like I got a migraine. It was a brain malfunction in my head that just needed some detox. And once that understanding came, my brain was like fried, but it was almost as if it cleaned out.
Yeah, no, I experienced the same. Many of us did here. It's that breaking Babylon, I guess, is what you can call it.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. The Babylon has got to be broken. We have to understand what happened to the priests. We have to understand who the Jews are today. We have to understand why the calendar changed. And then we have to understand what sign goes where. And the stars witness to it. The moon witnesses to it. But the moon is specifically for agricultural stuff. It's for the seasons. It's when it's time to plant. And Jermaine does a fabulous job at explaining how the moon is very critical for our nourishment, our food.
It's that feminine role, the nourishing one, and it's for a reason.
Ooh, the feminine role. Yeah, the nourishing. Yes. The sustainability to our livelihood. It's when to plant, when to reap, when to weed. I mean, that's awesome. So it's not that the moon doesn't do anything. When it's at the opposite side of the sun, we are able to understand when the constellations are of the sun because it's opposite. So when it's what is it, full moon? It would be in opposition to the sun.
Yeah, exactly.
When she's, void of light or next to it, she's next to the sun. Like her light diminishes, and when she's further away, she gets brighter. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's actually really fascinating.
Also
Well, it
funny how
should be the way it is with us, shouldn't it?
yeah. Yeah.
He must increase and I must decrease, and he is his spirit, his presence is very clear when we're near to him. And then he has this other, and we can look at this like two ways. But there is this other. He said, "Ye are the light of the world." So when it's not so obvious that we're with him, we're still manifesting his light. I like that, actually.
Yeah, me too.
So so in my quiet times in the morning, it's so awesome, and I'm with him through the day, but it's not as obvious, perhaps, when I'm with other people. But they see his light because he's in me. He's abiding in me. His light is shining through me. So even though I might not be quite as aware of his presence, like when I'm totally focused in the morning and on the sunshine, so seen through me. Hey, that's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you for letting me interject that, Katrina.
That's amazing. Thanks for interjecting.
Hey, Mary.
Yeah.
Yes.
So what he's trying to say is, if you go back to creation, you remember there's a scripture
Yeah.
in the New Testament that says, "As you have heard from the beginning," in First
Yeah.
John. Okay. When he did, and he rested on the seventh day, and we're supposed to rest like him on the seventh day. What they are doing is going back to creation and day 4 and counting the Shabbat from the
From the minute the equinox happens.
and counting like the Father did in creation. And
Yeah.
because we know there wasn't a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday back in creation. It wasn't so. It was
Yeah.
day 1, 2, day 3, day 4, day 5, day 6, day 7. So they're referring to the calendar back to creation instead of switching things around, trying to make it fit a man-made Wednesday or Saturday or whatever that's been created by man.
Right. Right. Yeah. They're making day 4 starts when we get to the equinox. Yeah. It's very, Felicia expounded on that. Ruthie. Yeah. No, I got you. I know what that.
Well, she would fight me up and down. She'd fight me up and down on that one. So, but anyway.
Who, Ruthie? No, I think what the thing was probably is the fact that the equinox, you're still having to deal with she uses the equinox and then goes a week later or whatever, but you guys are still gonna have to drop something when that equinox happens. So there are gonna be some days of some sort each year in there. It's just you guys are then, I guess, distributing it.
360.
We're just
well, if you end up doing 4 and it's varying, it means that there's going to be variability somewhere in there from the equinox exactly hitting that spot and the weeks prior, and she's doing it after the fact. You know what I mean? Like there's still gapping.
So there's no gap. So there's a gap. But wait, just let me try to help you out there. So when the day 4 hits, that's in the middle of the creation week. The gap is that there's 364 days in his calendar. That's what constitutes his calendar.
Right.
But we cannot undermine the fact that there is, from vernal equinox to vernal equinox, 365 days in a solar cycle. So you just
I
subtract
think somebody
360.
needs to mute
Oh,
because you're echoing funny.
okay. Could everyone mute?
Yeah, Lee, would you mind muting there?
Awesome. Thank you. So from vernal equinox to vernal equinox, there's 365 days. Well, you subtract 365 minus 364, and you get 1 day. That 1 day is Genesis 1:2. And Genesis 1:2 is that void, because this 1 day is the void day that separates 364 and day 1 in the weekly cycle. Now, remember, we found that there's different cycles working simultaneously for Yah's calendar. It's brick upon brick, and then there's brick upon brick, and there's brick upon brick. And it holds that foundation in place, that creation week. It's all about the creation week. So there's a counting of weeks, which starts at the equal day, equal night, divides the year. That's that 0 day. And then you start your count 1, 2, 3, 4, and you get your equinox, which is the actual first day of the year, which starts a whole new monthly count cycle where we have all of our Sabbaths and feasts. Because time didn't start at day 1 of creation week. It started on day 4 when the luminaries were created. So
Wait. The beginning of the months started on day 4. He
yes.
named day 1, day 2, and day 3 as part. That means time to me. So how could there not be time when he was naming it already?
Yeah, so he started the counting of days on day 1 week of creation. That's the light that was created. So the tracking of the months or the solar cycle, that was on day 4 to keep track of the monthly cycle. So that's what's going to give us our festivals, and our Sabbath, our weekly Sabbath, are going to fall on the creation week. And you do have a really good visual about it. Yeah, there it is, right there.
So, yeah, my shadow. Hold on a second. Let me turn on my other light. Okay. So there's 3 cycles that you have to be aware of. His ways are way higher than our ways. He has 3 cycles going. Okay. Here's your menorah. Okay. This is what sealed the deal for us, the priestly consecration. Because all these cycles have to perfectly align. So we have creation week, which is it holds the menorah. Do you see? Here's the menorah. The divider day separates day 364 from day 1. Here's that creation week held firm in the Shamayim. Now, we start our count on day 4, which is day 1 of the year. And this is the part I'm like a little confused on. So our monthly count, so it's day 1 of the year. No, I'm not confused on this. The monthly count, this is our...
It's the beginning of months, honey. It's just the beginning of months. And it doesn't actually say year in that context. So that gets things confusing when we start having 2 starts of the year.
Right. So we have the weekly count and we have the monthly count. So we could see 28, we skip a day, 29, 30, 31 of the monthly count. And then we hit day 1. And then we hit day 2. Okay? And then the 4th day is our first Shabbat holding creation week's Shabbat. See? We're holding that. And that's what the Dead Sea Scrolls say. And then we go on to count 5, 6, 7. But the weekly count keeps going. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. But the monthly count goes on for 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, up until 364. But then we have another solar cycle, which is the prophetic year. And this is the count of 360 days. And that 360 days is mentioned in Revelation and also in Daniel. That's kind of taking out the added seasonal days to the count. So we have the 1, 2, 3, 4. And this is where a lot of people are getting confused because they want to start the following day after the equinox. They're saying, oh, well, the equinox happened and we're going to start it the next day. They're only going by the solar cycle. Our feasts and Sabbath go on the monthly cycle. the creation week. So the day zeros are here. The 4th day cycle kicks it off, keeping the 7th day cycle of creation week, but it's day 4 of the monthly count. And then we have the priestly cycle here, because the priestly consecration has to happen in the beginning of the year so that by the 8th grade day, they're ready. They're ready for the year. And it's all with the menorah method, but it's showing the 3 cycles. And I know it's so confusing because we want to say, oh, well, day 1 is day 1. And then we would start here, as a lot of people say, because they see the equal day, equal night, and then they'll start their count here. But we can't do that because we have to start when the luminaries were created. The luminaries were not created here. They were created here, and the Dead Sea Scrolls prove it. And then 3 days later is our first Shabbat, holding creation week. How does that sound? Does that make sense? I'm sorry for calling this the yearly. It's just, I know I have to stick with calling it the monthly cycle. There's a creation week cycle, creation month cycle, and this is our prophetic year solar cycle. And like Nick Vanderland wants to start the day after the straight line shadow. But if you start after the straight line shadow, you're not doing it on the day that the sun, the moon, and the stars were created. You're doing it the next day, which breaks it up. How's that? How did I do?
No, you did great.
I think you did well. I'm glad that that Jeremy put your thing up because it was just going back and forth and it was hard to read what you were trying to show us. So it's right underneath. So you know why.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's better to see it because it's so hard to speak about it if you can't visually see it. I know I had problems. I had a lot of problems with with the day 0 of the monthly or the solar count being on the equinox. But then you understand why some people see it, because they're merging the 2 sun signs that Yahweh has given us. They're saying equal day and equal night has to be on the straight line shadow day. But that's merging the 2. And that equal day, equal night does not come in on the equinox day. It can't happen. Again.
Exactly. And that's even shown in the definition. They say, yeah, the equinox is not, it's not exactly equal day and equal night, but the equal lux is, and that your location is going to vary depending on when and where it happens. And that's because of, it's the atmospheric distortion or the atmospheric lensing that occurs, and it's because of the water in our atmosphere, and it's going to bend that light. So while basically where Enoch was taken up into Yahuwah's position, he didn't see the atmospheric lensing, so that's why we don't see, the blendings. He doesn't talk about the blendings, because from that position there is no blendings. It's just straight night or darkness or light. And so it's the same thing with that. So he was seeing the equal day and equal night happening before the equinox, because from that position, that's where it happens. But the atmospheric refraction and all that, it's going to cause the sun's light to bend. And that's why we're seeing it on March 16th in the specific location of where Israel is. And so as the sun's moving closer, it's actually That's why that equal day, equal night, or the equal lux, as they call it, it's going to vary depending on your location, up into even the day before the equinox. But it's really fascinating how it works, honestly. It's kind of hard to explain through words, but
No, I think I'm getting what you guys are saying. It's pretty cool. I love to chew on things. So if I'm acting quiet, I just want you all to know, like, I'll usually sit there and just go over it and over it and over it again and just look at it. And I'm more of a photographic memory type person, so I'll just kind of like study and just keep going through that and then reprocessing it through my brain over and over, kind of thing. So, but
I'm gonna have to make
guys-
videos on that so that people could kind of go through it. But I'm a visual person too, and I couldn't understand the 3 cycles and how they merged and how they actually built themselves to make it so sturdy until I was able to write it out myself. And then you see the menorah and you see how it works. And there's no need to add a week ever because you're not skipping that extra day that's not counted in the year. You're just adding it, and there's no need for a weekly intercalation after that. And I think that,
I'm
again,
still having a challenge with the third one. Just spent some time
so
with
am
Sean
I.
again, and so I'm not. So I'm going with the 2 right now until I can really get the third one, because the way Sean's explaining it, you have to start the count on the day after to get it to end at the same time as the others. And so I'm just not clear on that one,
I was
and how it comes in scripturally and everything.
well, that's because of Enoch when he's speaking about. So he talks about the 4 days that are intercalated and how they are reckoned in the reckoning of the year. But when you don't reckon them,
Right, and that's what I understand is the 360. I don't understand this other thing is the 360.
yeah. So that's kind of what I was about to explain. So when they're reckoned in the reckoning of the year, that's when they're dividing the 4 seasons, just like Enoch is saying, because they belong in their separate divisions of the year, meaning the 4 seasons. But when we don't reckon them in the reckoning of the year, that's where we get the 360-day prophetic year. And instead of those 4 days being in the 4 divisions of the year, you then put them after that last Sabbath of the year. So now you're going to have day 0, 1, 2, and 3 of creation, which are those 4 intercalated days not reckoned in the reckoning of the year. So that last Sabbath of the year is actually going to be day 360. And then the days 1, 2, 3, and 4 of the intercalated falls on day 0, 1, 2, and 3. And then boom, we get day 4 of the week, which is going to start the monthly cycle over again.
Well, from what Sean was saying, to get the 360 to end on our last Sabbath, he has to start the count on day 5 rather than day 4.
Yeah, no, that's the 364-day count starting at 0. So on day 4 of the week is day 0 of 364, but day 1 of the month. And then day 2.
What I'm trying to share with you is that he starts his 360-day count with day 5, not with day 4.
Yeah, and that's what I'm explaining.
For the 360. Well, I'm just not getting it. I didn't get it with him, and I'm not getting it with you either. I'm sorry.
So basically, that's when. Okay, so the monthly cycle that's about the solar cycle. It's starting at the Tekufa. That's what we're seeing in Enoch. So since we start the counting at 0, day 1 of 30 of the month is not going to be the same as the 364-day count. It's going to be just like how day 1 of month 1 is starting on day 4, week of creation. It's not the same count, different counts. So it's the same with the solar cycle. So we have the weekly 364-day count that starts at 0, and that's the 52 weeks of 7 days exactly. And that counting starts at 0. And then we have the solar cycle count, or the solar cycle keeping track of the monthly count, which is also 364 starting at 0. So when the month starts, which is day 1 of month 1, that's going to be day 0 of 364 because we start that counting at 0. But our yearly divider day is going to be the creation week divider day that we've used. So the solar divider day, it has to be in there, but it is counted, and is counted as day 1 of month 1, week day 4 of creation. So it's those separate counts that we're seeing. It's kind of shown there in Katrina's picture as well.
So are you trying to tell me that you're doing the same thing, Sean, and you're starting the count of the 360 on day 5 of creation so that you end up with 360 days ending with the last Sabbath?
So the count doesn't start there. It starts at 0. So we start our counting at 0. So we start
For the
right
360.
there. Yes, correct. And that's
Okay, so
actually
you're not doing the same thing Sean is doing?
No. So if you can see on Katrina's picture there, you're going to see that solar count.
I posted in the chat.
Yeah. And then, so you're going to see days 0 to 364. And in that solar count, it's starting on the Takufa, the equinox, the straight line shadow. So that's 0 of 364. So it goes 0 and then 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way back around. And 360 is going to fall on the last Sabbath of the year, which in the
Okay, you're just calling that the solar count.
Yeah. The solar count is
And so
the monthly count, basically, or the monthly cycle count, I should say.
So is that solar count, is that your 360-day prophetic year?
Yeah, and that's what you see there. So basically the top row is going to be the creation week count. So we start that at 0, and then the days are numbered starting from day 1 week of creation, just like Jubilees is explaining. So that's what we were saying. Jubilees is explaining this creation week yearly cycle. And
Right.
Enoch is describing the solar count, keeping track of the monthly yearly cycle. So that's where we're seeing these 2 different counts, and they start at 2 different days.
Okay.
So we start our counting when the Creator did, and that's in Genesis 1, 1 through 2. So he started at 0, nothing. And so that's where we start our yearly count as described by Jubilees, where they speak of, we start our counting of days beginning from creation. And so that's that cycle we see of that yearly, weekly cycle from 1 to 364, basically. And then we have in the center there, that's going to be the days of the month. The days of the month, yes. So the 28th of the 12th month is going to be day 364 of creation, but it's going to be day 360 of the solar count. And then we have our yearly divider day, just like 4Q394 is explaining. After the last Sabbath of the year, that day is added. And then 4Q324D is showing us where vacate is. And it talks about how we have that last Sabbath of the year, and then there's that missing text. And after that missing text, it shows us the 30th day of the month is on weekday 2. The 31st is going to be on weekday 3. And so that's where we
You
combine
know
those two together
something?
and we can see. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I take a picture of it to send it to myself, but I can't figure out how to send myself that picture that she just did.
So what you want to
And the
do
solar
is
count.
hold it down, right?
The
And you can,
picture.
yeah. Oh, wait, it won't do it. So wait, blow it up, and then save to gallery. So
What do you mean blow it up?
so click on it. Now go to the 3 dots on the
Okay.
right. Now save to gallery. Right there, and it will save into your
Okay.
gallery. Cool? You got that?
Okay. Yeah. But how do I send it myself?
Well, you have it now, so it's in your gallery. So you could go to your gallery and pull it up, and you could use it, send it, whatever. Or if you want to send it to yourself, click on it, and then you click share, and then you share it to Messenger, you could share it to email, you could share it. Or you can not click it, right? Put it back into the chat.
And all this.
If you will just listen, put it back into the chat. Okay, so don't blow it up.
Oh.
And then just hold it down, hold the screen,
Yeah.
and then there's a reply, or you could forward it. And so you could forward it to whoever you want. Self, Sean.
Okay,
So
the
there's a
point
couple.
in not seeing my own design send it. That's the point.
Wait, I can't hear you.
All these things.
You're breaking up, Ellie. I can't
Yeah.
hear you.
And
It's breaking up pretty badly.
never
though.
mind. It's raining here.
Oh, no
Thank God.
worries.
Love, we can't hear you. Are you there?
Might have lost signal.
Sorry, it's raining a lot here. It's probably why you can't hear me very well.
Yeah, no worries. So you said you couldn't see yourself to send it to? Is that what you were saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so Sumi sent it to me. Thank you, Sumi.
Yeah, awesome.
So where do we get solar cycle from? I mean, is it showing it somewhere in the scriptures?
Yeah, that's the Book of Enoch. And Jubilees even goes into that. It talks about how Enoch is describing the solar cycle to keep track of the months. And Jubilees is tracking the weekly cycle to keep track of that. And that's that wheel within the wheel that we see, the 2 cycles. That's how Creation Week is held in place. And that's how the monthly count is held into place. And a lot of people, they're following the creation, not the creator. And that's why folks like, Dustin and them, they're putting their 0 day on the Takufa because they're seeing that cycle. But we're supposed to follow the creator and not be like the priests who turn their back on the temple to look at the sun. So when we follow the creator, we see he started the counting of days on day 1 week of creation. And so that's the count that we use for our yearly cycle. And that's what's spoken about in the book of Jubilees. Whereas Enoch is describing the cycle of the sun, moon, and stars, or the solar cycle, to keep track of the months.
So Enoch doesn't say that you start with the 4th day.
No, he actually
It's
does not
Jubilees
describe
that said you start with the 4th day.
it. It's a Dead Sea
Enoch just
Scroll.
tells you the months.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, Enoch isn't actually describing days. The only time he describes it is when he talks about the 364, and he doesn't say days, it's courses or something. But that's the only reference he makes to like days.
Stations. He calls it stations, right?
Yeah. So yeah, that's why we see the day count. It's in Jubilees, but Enoch is not specifically showing the day counts. He's just showing, that cycle of the sun and the stars and the moon as well. It's laid out.
Okay, so the solar count is right. So the people who are starting their year, if you want to call it that, with the day after the equinox, are doing it according to the solar count instead of according to Enoch or Jubilees, correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay, that makes sense. And so there's a reason to do it that way. It's just not the way Yah tells us to do it in the scriptures.
Yeah, no, that's exactly what he's telling us, and that's kind of what I was trying to explain, because I get it. It can be hard to understand that the wheel within the wheel, or the two cycles, and it's because Babylon has trained us to think, oh well, the 31st of December to the 1st of January, that's just going to constitute the year. Well, Yahuwah has two witnesses. It's the weekly cycle and the monthly cycle. And these two witnesses are going to bring in each yearly cycle of in itself. It's, I
Thank
think,
you. I think I'm getting my brain around it a little better. I appreciate it.
yeah, and I
You're being
think,
very patient here.
yeah, no worries. And I think Marissa explains it pretty well, because she explains it in a different way. And on her presentation, she kind of walks through it a little bit. And here, let me grab the video again. But she kind of walks it through with the visuals, so it makes it a bit easier to see and understand what's going on there. And here, let me get the video. So yeah, this one's about Marissa, and she speaks about the two cycles, the wheel within the wheel, and then also goes over the witnesses and the stars in that video as well that I just shared.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, we've been on quite some time. Another 2 hours on top of 8, so 10 hours so far. Praise Yah.
Bless you.
Yeah, much love. So yeah, I mean, does anybody have anything else, or any questions, or anything else they would like to talk about? 'Cause if not, I was thinking about ending it there. And I know Brother Jimmy might still be on his TikTok if you're interested
No,
in
he's
joining.
not on, but Leo's on.
Okay. Yeah.
But I do have something just to share, Jeremy. I'm just pulling them up now to send them to the group so everyone can read. Ya's been having me study in the background. And the one thing that he's just brought up, which I'm reading now, etymology is where words come from, and obviously the beginning and studies. So I went to Etmo online, and it said the word jubilee was a noun, and it was from the late 14th century. The Old Testament sense from the French jubileu, and jubilee means anniversary, rejoicing, from late Latin jubileus. The Jubilee year, originally an adjective of the Jubilee, from Greek, and I'm not even going to butcher that, but it goes from Hebrew was yobel, and it formerly was a trumpet, a ram's horn, literally ram. The original Jubilee was a year of emancipation of slaves and restorations of the land. Celebrating every 50th year, which is in Leviticus, and then it's got Roman numerals. For 25:9, it was proclaimed by the sounding of a ram's horn on the Day of Atonement.
Yeah. Because that's when the Jubilee started, was actually in the 7th month. So they have that overlap
Yep.
in the year. Just like,
because the Jews still do that today. Every 7 years, they have to let the slaves go free. And then obviously if they become slaves again, they're locked in for 7 years. And that's why, was it David that wanted Rachel or whatever? When he had to work for her, he had to do 2 lots of 7 years slaving for his master.
Joseph, or not Joseph, why can't I think of it?
Jacob.
Jacob, that's
Jacob. Yeah. It's it really makes sense. Did you see that video that I shared with you the other day? What did you think of that? Was there anything that jumped out at you?
Which video was it again? What was it about?
I sent it to you on TikTok and it was only for you, but I sent it to you on Messenger as well, saying what are you being confirmed in watching this or anything?
Oh, I remember watching it. I have to go back and watch it again, see exactly what it was about. Because I remember.
Yeah, because I was waiting for an answer and I didn't get one. That's all.
Yeah, no, sorry. I remember there was a couple of things you said. One of them was that Bible, that different version of the Bible. I forget what it was called. I remember that one. I'll have to go back and watch it.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, no apologies. I can't recall it at the moment. Yeah, what's your question there, Sister Jermaine?
Oh, hi. Yesterday we had some people travel from Brisbane, which is southern Queensland, and they travelled up to us in Far North Queensland. And they were just so excited to meet us, and we were excited to meet them. And we quickly found out that they were still very sort of in the Messianic sort of side of things. They're new to Torah, as in they've probably been going for it at about 2 years. And yeah, they just kept saying, oh, this person's anti-Semitic and that person, that it just kept coming up in conversation. And I'm like, I don't know whether I'm classed as anti-Semitic or not, but yeah, we just don't go by the Jews and we don't trust the Jews and stuff like that. Anyway, I'm wondering if anyone has, oh dear, wouldn't you believe it? I've got a visitor. The dog's barking. Yeah, I'll come back in a sec. Sorry. Hang on.
No worries. That's how it always works, huh? I've noticed that too. When you got something important to do, or you're coming up to say something, and then that's when you get all of a sudden blown up with messages or things like that. Is that a gecko, Sumi? Yeah, no, we have geckos here too. They don't have cool little markings like that though, but oh, interesting. Yeah, I don't. Why are you asking me that? I have no idea. I can't tell you.
Jeremy, you just said you have geckos.
No, I mean here in Arizona we have geckos.
And
I, d-
I've been
I
trying to
don't.
figure out if it's a girl or a boy.
Yeah, no, I can't tell you how to sex a gecko.
I think
What?
I think it might be a girl. I don't know.
Well, when it has babies, you'll know.
Well, I don't know what to get it to have babies with if I don't know what it is.
Well, you don't have to. See, just let it out for a little bit and recatch it, and then you'll know.
Oh, we don't have any geckos. I'll have to go buy it a mate. I'm sure I'll take it and figure it out though.
Oh, I see little things running around here, little salamander kind of things, and things with blue on them, and some of them there's a really neat blue color that
Yeah.
kind of glints in the sun.
No, this guy's gonna get like
And there's
7
another
or
one
8
that's kind of
inches.
gold color.
Yeah, there's some really pretty ones, but this guy's gonna get pretty big.
I don't think what I got is a gecko. I think there are other things here.
I'm gonna take that picture down. I feel like I'm violating him or her. Okay.
I think I should probably tell y'all good night. It's starting to rain quite a bit more, and it's getting past my bedtime. And I love y'all, and so glad that I got to spend time with you again today.
Yeah,
Ciao.
yeah. Same here. It's always such an amazing fellowship, and then we have guests that just pop up, and they have so much to add. And it's all thanks to Yahuwah, honestly. And yeah, I think we're gonna end it there for tonight as well. We've been going. What are we at here? Another 2 hours and 4 minutes. So yeah, over 10 hours of fellowship. So yeah, always amazing. Thanks everybody for joining.
Hey, Jeremy, can I just quickly add in something?
Yeah, go right ahead.
It's obviously I was really quiet in the background because of what Yah was showing me, and I'm just waiting for the pictures to load now. Oh, it won't even let me click on them because it says it's loading. Oh, hopefully now it'll let me do them. Oh no, it's split it into 2 groups. Can you still hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Oh, beautiful. That means I can look at the pictures while I'm doing it. So, he was showing me the Hebrew name Lashem is one of the hosts and jewels, because obviously I was going through the jewels and just being teachable and letting him guide me on learning. But Lesem, it goes, its previous name was Dan, and Dan's the one tribe that doesn't get saved. And so that's one of the jewels which has got taken off as such, if that makes sense. But when you go to the town of Dan, then when it comes up on Wikipedia, it's coming up with the Hebrew name, which is obviously like, I think that's the symbol for closed doorway. And it goes, an older name, Lachish, is the ancient city name in the Hebrew Bible, and the northernmost city of the kingdom of Israel belonged to the tribe of Dan. But that's the tribe that's not saved. And so when I went through it, it says that the tribe of Dan, and it goes Lachish, which is lioness, is a number of translations, and it's from the rabbis, which is obviously they're the false teachers and everything like that. Or you're not getting the same messages.
Oh yeah. No, we agree. Yeah, they're the false teachers.
Yeah. So I was going to say it's just funny that he's shown that through. So when people are trying to preach, which is why he's shown me the confusion, you know how they're trying to say that it's 13 months of 28 days. Yah was trying to show me that's where Satan puts in his deception, and he put it in the false gem as well.
Interesting. Wow.
Yeah, because he wanted to show that his tribe of Dan, which is Lachish, which comes down to the stones, can be saved, which obviously they can't. But he keeps on trying to confuse people, which is why he put that Lashem stone in the breastplate, because he wants them to try and be saved.
Interesting. Yeah. Huh.
Yeah. Anyway, I'll try and find more information on it. But when you read the pictures, and I did have them in order because it come up with the biblical scriptures for the stones, and then the stones of the temple lining up with the breastplate of the priests, and then obviously they're the 12 steps of the foundation stones of the new temple. And obviously, if the new temple comes down, that's what the 12 cornerstones are going to be. But then they've got 12 gates of pearls in between it.
Wow. Oh, very fascinating.
Yeah, it shows that once again in the Hebrew, they've just lied and deceived everything, because they just don't want people knowing the truth, which is why there's so many variants in the gemstones lining up with the scriptural names as well.
Yeah. No, makes sense.
Anyway, that's all. I'll try and find more and then put it together in a bit of a little presentation if I have time.
Yeah, that'd be great. That would be great, sister. Thank you.
You're welcome. And Shabbat Shalom for all of you in America.
Yeah, Shabbat Shalom. Even though it's just ending, it's definitely sundown here. 8
Oh,
o'clock
that's
in
all
the
right then,
evening.
because yeah, we're well and truly in Monday. We're 1 o'clock lunchtime Monday now.
There you go. We're almost there. Shalom from the past.
Shalom.
But yeah, yeah, I think we'll end it there though. Yeah, please feel free to share any of that
Shalom,
information.
shalom, everybody. I gotta put my kids to bed anyway, so it's late.
Yeah, no worries.
Great. Love you
So,
all.
much love, Leila Tov, and we'll meet same time, same place next week. So, thank you all for joining, and shalom.